Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Hazy Flazy here, coming at you with my very first deck profile video. This is an old deck I used to play. It's called the T.G Stun Deck. I know this isn't, the most up-to-date deck. It's not spirals or anything, but it's definitely a fun deck to take to locals. It really throws people off guard. I've taken it at locals several times and done exceptionally well. Third place at locals a few times with it. There's a lot of tricks in here. I don't really play hand traps in this deck simply because I think it takes away from the TG and Beast Warrior strategy with all the cards I have supporting that type. It's basically around synchros. Synchro plays definitely help out. But before I get into some strategy of the deck, I'm gonna go over what's in the deck, and we'll talk about some plays after that. Okay. All right, so for the first monster of the deck, I really love this card to death. I love playing it. We play triple T.G Rush Rino. Rush Rino's effect, when he attacks, he gains 400 attack, and his base attack is 1600, so he goes up to 2000 attack. So he's really the best beater of the deck. I guess you would say he's really easy to get out. He's 4 stars. He's Earth, and he's a beast type monster. So it really plays into the whole beast Warrior feel of the deck. Next, we have probably the best card of the deck, in my opinion. We have 3 T.G Strikers. T.G Striker, he's basically the Cyber Dragon of the deck. You can special summon him when you control the monsters and your opponent controls a monster. He's a tuner. He's level 2. Easy level 6 synchros made with this guy. And, this guy is pretty much the reason why this deck actually works properly. I play 1 copy of T.G Cyber Magician. He's not really the best in my opinion. I think I like it. He's just 1 star. And all the TG monsters have a similar effect, but he's basically 1 star for the synchro plays. For the finish, the TG lineup, we play triple Werewolf. Werewolf is great. He's really weak, but he does open up a lot of combos. Plus, he's dark, but he's still a beast warrior. So going back into my favorite part of this deck, probably one of the best playmakers of the deck, is triple Reborn Tengu. Reborn Tengu is for deck thinning. He's a beast warrior type. He's 1700 and he's 4 stars. And I believe when he's destroyed, you can special summon 1 from your deck, which is great. It's like -3 cards. So basically your deck's like a 37 card deck. At that point when you have Tengu. During the battle phase, this is one of the best cards. I like that in here. He's a pitch black werewolf. The whole point of this deck is pretty much to lock down your opponent, not let them respond to anything. It's really nice. It's a really fun deck. It's really, I won't say it's anti-meta, but it's definitely a lockdown deck. Going into it for our last lineup for the monsters, we have just double Fire Fist Bear. I used to play 2 Fire Fist Bear and 1 Gorilla, but I thought it was too cloggy. He's Beast Warrior, that plays with Tengu, or no, not Tengu, I'm sorry, with Tenki. You can attack and get a Tenki out and set it on the field, which helps with your Beast Warrior and your searches and whatnot. So this deck, the way I have it built, I don't know if everyone else does this, but I have it in several ways. I have it in the format of either boosting your monster's attack, making your monsters undestroyable, or special summoning a shit ton of monsters. But that being said, I play 1 Big Daddy Silhouette Warrior Calcos. This card single-handedly wins games. It locks down the field. You're a monster that's maybe 1600 base, gets boosted to like 2100 as a 4 star. That's incredible. Now, there's not really too much back row in the format right now, but and I normally would play Twin Twisters, but I don't really like to discard my monsters in this deck, so I play 2 MST. That way I have no cost, and they don't really work well from the graveyard. I do have a 5 formation Tenki, 2 of them, for the bear search. So basically it makes your deck thinner. So going from the 37 to the 36, 35, you know, card deck, because you're pretty much going to get this card searched out of your deck, set it, and then you get to grab a card when you activate it. I see this card. I kept this card in simply because if I get like a bear and I don't need a bear, or if I need if I don't want the werewolf, pitch black werewolf right now, and I really need to get rid of a monster, simply just because you can't run 2 Raigekis, and I don't want to run 2 dark holes. I run double smashing ground. I know I said earlier I don't like sending monsters to the graveyard, but sometimes smashing ground is, you know, it helps out a shit ton, you know. Simply because if you get a dead draw, you can just throw it to the grave and just blow something up, and you don't lose your monsters with dark hole. So you still have the Raigeki for later. One Book of Moon, so we just, you know, for monster effects. Dark hole, clear the board, especially if you get a second and they have like a shit ton of monsters and it doesn't target. Raigeki to clear the board even when you do have monsters. I play 1 pot. Usually you can make almost any combo work in this deck, even if you get a shit ton of traps in your hand. With the Pot of Duality is really nice when you have the silly Orichalcos, because you can't special summon anyway. So if you have silly Orichalcos on board, you pretty much have a free like card when it comes to Pot of Duality. On top of that, we play. I really want to trade these out for Blazing Mirror Forces, but we have double Mirror Force. I know a lot of monsters work from grave, but this card did help out a lot a while back. We played just 1 Torrential to blow up the field again. This is probably the best card of the deck, in my opinion. We play triple. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Horn of the Phantom Beast. It's a really good card. Basically what it does is it increases your monster's attack by 800, and when they destroy a monster by battle, one of these cards equipped to your monster, you get to draw a card. So it's really, really overpowered. It helps you go through your deck like a shit ton. I play 2 T.G EMI, which is basically the change of hearts, but I'll get into some plays with the T.G EMI because it helps out a shit ton. Definitely wombo combos with that card. Play double Fiendish Chain. You know, monster effects are just trash nowadays. You don't want to have to deal with that. I was thinking about bumping this card up to 2 because now being how that is, I think you back to play 3 now. I'm not sure though. I gotta look on that. Bottomless Trap Hole, banish, get rid of a problem. Solemn Warning, pay your life points, get rid of a problem. You know, and compulsory. Get big monsters like XYZs and Synchros back to the extra deck. Fuck them. You don't want them on the field. I'll go over the extra deck, and then I'll go over some combos you can play with the deck real fast. So extra deck, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 Synchros. Actually, I'm missing one. Hold on. We have, I don't know where he's at. Let me find them. Actually, it must have been the deck box. I'm gonna look for them, but I'll come back to that in 2 seconds. But we have 5 Synchros. We have the T.G Wonder Magician, basically just a draw. The T.G Gladiator, definitely a good beater, and inflicts piercing damage and does the difference to your opponent. And when this card leaves the field, you get a draw. I play 2 of those, and I have a Catastor to get rid of the dark monsters. You know, there's a lot of dark monsters nowadays. I mean, some people still play Burning Abyss. Some people try to make Shaddolls work. I don't know how they're doing now in this format, but most definitely, Catastor is always going to be really good. You know, dark monsters, like even Red Eyes. I mean, you have tons of decks that just run dark monsters. And if you watched my first video, I opened up a D Hero deck. Every card in there was based for dark. On top of that, I played the best TG monster probably for Synchros, the T.G Librarian. Since you Synchro summon a lot in here, to get tons of draws. That's pretty much it for the 5s. For the 6s, we'll go into, let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of those too. Alright, I played double Ghost Rare. I had to brag about that. Barkion. Like I said, you don't really do too much on the grave, so why not get rid of some cards in the grave and then negate some stuff with Barkion. Barkion's just a monster. He's a good beater. He's got a great effect, especially for this deck. Goyo, simply because if you steal a good monster, you can Synchro or XYZ with it, and it's like I said, a bunch of monsters were from the graveyard, so why not steal the monsters from their opponent's graveyard? We're gonna go to the Iron Chain Dragon. His effect's decent, probably not the best for this format, but he's still an option depending on what deck you play. And sometimes when you don't want an effect monster, Gaia the Enforcer is good. He's definitely a good beater. You can't really get Fiendish Chains to, or it won't even affect him really. He's not, he's not really a effect monster. So you have free 2600. I won't say vanilla, but kind of beater. It's really good. And to top it off, we got 5 XYZs. We got a Gymnot Pearl, no effect, so it works out. 2 level 4s, basic. Fairy King, I'm actually amazed how well this card's worked out. It worked pretty good in locals. A person would play a monster, I would detach, and all the monsters on the field gain 500 attack when they're Earth, and almost all the monsters in this deck are Earth, which I was like 5 or 6. We got 101 Silent ARK. Silent ARK steals monsters. It's great. Gets you around some big monsters. I love this card. Utopia. It's for stalling. 2 turns of save me. 3 turns basically of save me. And this is probably the trash card, but it does help. It's called a Photon. How do you even say that name? Papilloperative. It pretty much forces a monster to be destroyed, basically. Turn into attack mode, weaken it, run into it. Definitely throws your opponent off guard, I would have to say. So that's for the extra deck. When you get into the actual deck itself, about the combos I was talking about, I can show you a couple of combos, a couple monsters. That way you can see a couple of good plays. We'll definitely do Tengu, that one, and for the hell of it, we'll do a Phantom Beast. Alright, a couple of just common plays. Let's say like your hand's looking like, okay, you have a Soria Calcus, you activate that, and then on top of that you got T.G Rush Rino. He's already a huge beater. But let's say you have a Horn of the Phantom Beast. Now he's like, what is he? 2100 when he attacks, plus 800 is 2900. A 2900 4-star monster. Plus, if he destroys a monster, you get the draw card. How incredible is that? That's just a good play with T.G Rush Rino. I always love it like that play. With the Phantom Beast, this is why I say it's the best card in the deck. If you have a Pitch Black Werewolf already attacking at 2400 with the Horn of the Phantom Beast, you can activate your opponent can activate traps when he attacks. So you would get basically you can run into anything you want, and then you get to draw a card when you destroy your opponent's monster by battle, or if you're attacking them directly, they can't respond. It's a good play. Another good play is, I know TG Werewolf is probably the worst one, but the best play I usually do with TG, especially in locals, is this one right here. I summon my TG Werewolf. He's really weak, 3 stars, not really much to the deck, but then you get the T.G EMI. Pretty much to change your heart. So let's say like your opponent has, I'm just gonna pull a random monster off my extra deck. Your opponent has a Photon. I'm gonna call it Butterfly. You pretty much trade. You run to the TG Werewolf, and because it goes to your graveyard, you get TG Werewolf's effect to go off, so you can go TG monster from your deck to your hand. Alrighty guys, this was my TG Stun deck. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I know it's not like meta or anything, but it's definitely fun for your locals, and it definitely can prove to be really good. Tengu's definitely probably one of the best cards in the deck. It's just a floater, just a thinner, and Silver Calcus. What other decks can you use this in? Barely anything. But thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'm open to constructive criticism. Thank you so much, and you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.